Lou Williams.
Well, Bubba can make a shot.
Yeah, Lou Williams is he should be starting. It's just the way that the rotations work.
So,
he just comes
it's so weird. It's like it's weird to like argue that.
It's
like, to be like, oh, he should start. It's like, well, he's so good at what he does.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to a very awesome version of Analytically Correct. With you as always, your boy Brettigans. With you as always, your boy Marty. Not you yet. With you as always, our awesome producer Stretch. And for the first time, our #1 commenter from all the way from Pennsylvania, Stuart fucking Bond. I don't think you have some dumbass alias like Marty or Brettigans or anything, but either way.
That's my name.
Stuart's brother. Well, that's an alias or something. Being Brett's brother, I guess, is a bad enough alias.
I think you just gave away something saying that his name is an alias.
Yeah, what the hell?
Well,
he called it.
Is that on your birth certificate?
I'm not going to call your age.
It's Martin. It's Martin.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome to the sports show. That this is definitely going to go off the rails here pretty shortly. But let's attempt at some type of structure for the first 4 seconds and talk about the UCF Duke game, and then put your seatbelts on because it's going to be a really quick descent after this. So Mario, let's hear your 2 cents on the Duke UCF game, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I went out for it. I was in my house all day, and I literally just went out just to be around people to watch the game. It's the same kind of vibe as like the World Cup when everyone's rooting for the same team. As a Michigan fan, I never get that feeling. It's just me alone in a bar rooting for Michigan. So I went out just specifically just to watch that game, and it was awesome. I mean, everybody I'm sure was watching their first UCF game for the whole season. No shots at UCF fans, but it's probably true. But yeah, the game was awesome.
Shots.
They kept it a lot closer. They were 13.5-point underdogs, and I mean,
oh my God, really?
Yeah, they were 13.5. Zion went for like 32 and 11, but it seemed like they kind of held him in check. If those two things make sense. Like when Taco was in, he didn't really go inside at all. I mean, obviously this guy's 7'6", you're not gonna be able to go inside too much. But yeah, it's just really disappointing because in a couple years, nobody outside of Orlando is gonna remember the time UCF almost won. If they would have pulled it off, it would have been like one of the craziest upsets. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It was disappointing. There was a couple no calls down the stretch there. There was definitely a push in the back with RJ Barrett, but you still got to get the rebound. If you get the alley-oop or the rebound, you win the game.
And the Zion and one there. I mean, there was a blatant push-off that they didn't call.
Yeah.
And then he runs into Taco, and then he gets called for the and one on that.
Yeah, and I've heard it said this week, and it's a good point. If you leave it up to the hands of the refs and you're against Duke in the last couple of minutes, you're not going to have a good chance, especially if you're UCF.
It's almost as if they prefer to have Zion on television screens.
It's weird. I don't know.
Weird.
Did someone tag me in the fucking?
I didn't watch the game, so I can't speak to how the game trended. I watched obviously the highlights in the end there. You always feel bad for a team like UCF that played that way, that maybe should have won. If you're a Duke fan, to me,
you're an asshole.
What is that? What do you take away from that? And if you have Duke, like going even further, are you worried, or are you waving the strength and tenacity of your team's flag? Like
I think it's both, honestly. I think they showed that there was literally UCF players. You say you didn't watch the game. There's UCF players pointing at Duke players, like daring them to shoot 3-point shots. Like that's something that the Duke got the floor slapped on them. Like how they do that stupid thing where they slap the floor on defense, which I hate more than almost anything in sports. UCF players were pointing at them and like daring them to shoot, and they were shooting and they were missing. So it's not that people didn't already know Duke was a bad shooting team, but I think that they showed that there's a way to beat Duke. Duke is the favorite to win the championship, and everybody knows they're 3 guys, but I mean, they're not like one of those Kentucky teams or one of those crazy like
Florida teams back in the day.
Yeah, like teams like the Fab Five or anything like that.
Who?
The Fab Five.
Never heard of them. Are you talking about Jackson? Like back ABC?
Yeah.
So they weren't really competitive. I mean, I guess they were. They had a lot of great singles.
I can't name them either, so that's I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, the Jackson Five were probably coached a lot stricter than the actual Fab Five.
So you're saying that the dad was similar to Tom Izzo in that sense?
Hey!
Yeah, all comes full circle.
There you go. Hey, well, at least, you know, we're talking about a top 5 coach in the league, but either way.
So, well, behind Beeline, but you're, are you a big college basketball guy? I know you like baseball and all that kind of stuff. We're just meeting for the first time.
Yeah,
if anyone didn't know.
I'm not a huge college basketball. I can't say. I grew up loving North Carolina.
Shout out to Jamie in the dark hour. Woo! Say what's up, bro.
Dark hour.
What's up? Cheers. Cheers. I appreciate it.
To Cardi B.
Not the Cardi B.
Anything but that.
Wait, what's in these?
Cheers.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So not I wouldn't say like hugest fan. Me and Brett used to do brackets together all the time. Obviously, the sport we bonded on growing up the most is basketball. Look at our frames. That was the only sport we could play.
Yeah.
So I grew up loving North Carolina, probably because of the the Jordan thing. But in that time, it was like the Vince Carter era, and I always loved Roy Williams as well, which was pre that time because he was at Kansas at the time. But
do you think that he looks like a train conductor?
Oh, definitely. There's no way that
he put the little hat on him.
Yeah. I mean, if George Carlin and Ringo Starr can be the conductors on Thomas the Tank Engine, Roy Williams could have definitely done it.
There you go.
I mean, talk about a guest spot for the ages.
There's an NFL.
George Carlin and Ringo Starr played the same character. What world are we in?
There was an NFL player that retired a couple years ago to become a train conductor. I think he played for the Giants. Do you know who I'm talking about, Studs?
He probably went to Auburn.
Sorry, I'm finally trying to get all this
saying.
fucking shit up on my goddamn computer. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Is this how it? This is what I figured. This is what you deal with.
Yeah.
As somebody who watches it.
Get on your own podcast, dude. Fucking Tate. Fuck off, Tate.
No, it's usually just that Space Invaders pinball game on there, and we just pretend to look at it every once in a while.
That's it.
We're just playing battle tanks on each other's laptops.
No one gives a goddamn shit.
Parallel there. Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, I watched Bama get knocked out of the first round of the NIT. I follow them pretty much exclusively.
Oh, they just got a new coach, right?
Not to my knowledge, unless you know something I don't. Are you dropping something here right now?
Oh, like another Odell?
Alabama got the coach from some team. I'd have to look it up.
Well, Avery Johnson left.
That's real. Look it up.
They just got a new coach. Yeah.
What's he saying?
He's saying that
Alabama,
they hired somebody.
Not the football team.
No, we fired Avery. Well,
that's quick as shit.
Alabama didn't fire Avery Johnson. They mutually split ways.
Oh, the Buffalo coach.
One of my
Brian Bond chiming in immediately.
31-3.
One of my other favorite phrasings of that is Alabama dismisses Avery Johnson.
Right.
It's like you're dismissed. You know?
I mean, there's a lot of things to that. I mean, there was a lot of rumors that his wife really did not enjoy living in Tuscaloosa.
Go figure, Alabama.
I mean,
Tuscaloosa's a cool town. Tate, if you want to comment on this while Stuart's doing this, I'd like to hear your 2 cents. Tate fucking lives there.
My thing with Avery would be you're going to be really hard pressed to find somebody that can recruit better. He was phenomenal. I mean, look at Colin. I mean, he was there for not even 4 years, and he got a top 3.
And in those 4 years, you already had the guys, all the freshmen who the other guy recruited. So this is your first year as all of your guys.
But this is, and I'm not going to say that I totally agree with the move to mutually split ways with him or not. I personally would have liked to see him continue on because I trust our athletic director. I think Vern is great. It was a weird time. I know it was embarrassing. I think that's what it more was in this era of everybody reacts very quickly to things.
People don't give coaches enough time. Like everybody. I'm a Michigan fan, and I'm the first one. If I thought Jim Harbaugh was doing a bad job, I'd say fire him. But you have to give people time. Like you can't just, like you said, you have to get a full recruiting class in. Especially if you're a school like Alabama, you're not getting the one and done guys.
Yeah.
So even if, like you said, you produce a guy like Colin Sexton, you obviously know how to recruit.
Yeah.
And you got to give these guys. You're not recruiting Kentucky or Kansas. You're recruiting Alabama.
When I lived in Tennessee, I told this to many people who called into a couple of those sports stations, got on air and was talking about they need to give Pruitt time. Tennessee fans became so impatient with their football coaches, and most of the time for good reason.
Spoiled.
But Pruitt,
you
can't expect everybody to be a Saban or actually,
I
would even venture to say, a Kirby Smart. You can't. They're not just all made like that.
Yeah.
Look what Kirby's done. Think about the talent that Rick had for so many years and couldn't do half of what Kirby's already done in the time.
It depends if you think Mark Richt is a good coach or not.
I'll give you that. I like Rick. Rick might be the best recruiter in college football, including Saban.
He didn't really recruit Miami. I mean, he wasn't really recruiting those defenses.
He was there for like 2 years, though.
Yeah, that goes back to the not giving him enough time thing. And,
right.
And it's the similar like pattern. The way that new coaches are hired, it's like in the NFL, it's like, oh, this guy sucked here. He's just not going to have a job for a couple of years, and then we'll hire him again. And then in college basketball, it's like, oh, what mid-major team? You look at when Florida Gulf Coast was doing well in the tournament. That coach, I forgot his name, he went to USC. I don't even know if he's still there anymore. It's like the formula is just take a coach who overperformed at a smaller school, put him in a big school. It's like, you have some kind of more of imagination than that. Like
that's why I was so mad when the Browns got rid of Hugh. I just couldn't believe it.
What? Are you serious right now?
No,
okay.
Right. We got in a pretty big argument about that.
Yeah, that's 2 wins. It was one win. It was a one shining moment.
It'll go down in history. That'll be in the history books where people look back and go, they let that guy come back.
They just recycle the coaches, and it doesn't matter how bad you did the last time. Like Jeff Fisher, look what happened to the Rams after he left. Like, who was it I was talking to that said Scott Brooks should never be hired again? Was it you? It was him. Yeah, I was talking to Stretch last night. He said Scott Brooks should be fired every day of his life for what he didn't do with the talent that he had.
Dang.
Well,
look cold.
I mean, he's pretty much.
I want to put my drink closer to you so my ice doesn't melt as fast.
Jesus.
Being the coach of the Wizards right now is a fate worse than being fired, though. So
That's not fair.
When Dwight Howard is the most normal person in the locker room, that's a fucking shitty ass team.
And I just found out he was there, and I watch a lot of basketball.
Yeah, he's been hurt all year, but that is the most delusional.
Dwight Howard was hurt?
What?
Dwight Howard was hurt?
Yeah, right.
Arkansas should have stuck with Anderson too.
Yeah, Butch Jones. Yeah, Mark Richt is a joke.
Hey, Butch Jones got a ring now, baby.
Yeah. Mark Richt is, I think, right up there with. I mean, it's tough to say with Saban because Saban's been. Look, when you're number one for 5 years in a row, I'm not going to say someone's as good as you for recruiting, but when Saban was 5 years young in the SEC, I would put him and Rick in the same, personally. Just recruiting.
Oh, recruiting.
Yeah.
Absolutely recruiting.
Yeah, you got to think about that too. It's like, man, would you rather live in like Starkville or Athens?
Are you talking about like the coaches or the players?
How could Butch even sleep at night?
I know, it's weird. It's weird even me seeing him. I'm like, this is just awkward. Like, the worst for, I'll harp on Brian Bond's comment here, is the weirdest even for me was seeing Butch in the Alabama locker room smoking the cigar after Bama beat Tennessee, and I felt uncomfortable. I was like, this is...
That's a little odd.
That's an understatement, yeah. It's like, it's icky. You kind of like,
It's like, well, not the same style, but almost it's kind of like Bobby Bowden, like smoking, like puffing up if the Gators beat Florida State or something. Obviously, they're not the same good, but just that type of rivalry.
How did you become an Indians fan and you're a Cubs fan?
I'm still an Indians fan.
I feel like I can. Sorry, I feel like I can answer that really well, and I do this for people in his defense all the time. So we grew up. I was the only kid born in Ohio. I was born in Akron, and Brett would attest, and still is.
Did you ever meet LeBron? Or?
Pardon?
Did you meet LeBron? Or?
We'll get to that in a minute, sir.
I've never met LeBron.
No, Akron.
No.
We're only 7 minutes in. We'll get to that.
But are we really only that many in?
We're probably like 20. How far are we in? Mine only says 14.
So
we'll get there.
So we all were raised in a household under the. It's not only my father for some reason was a big Cleveland Indians fan.
I'm named after the center fielder when my parents met.
And my mother's whole family not only like split, like they immigrated all to Cleveland. So like our family lineage actually begins in that area.
Okay.
So I mean, we were in Cleveland attire before we could talk, and I just stuck with that, and it's just a part of our family.
I'm a Detroit fan. I know how it is. You just take where you were born and you deal with it.
But because of the time that the era that we were born in, and we were too poor and we couldn't afford. We had WGN.
Yeah.
So the Cubs were the only baseball team on.
Oh, they're in
besides-
CBS.
Similar thing.
But
CBS,
even
yeah.
then, but CBS wasn't until later in the 90s,
And
I think.
they played later on at night, and the Cubs played during the day. We were homeschooled.
Played during the day,
so.
those 2 or 3 o'clock games. So
Similar thing to
We
me with the
watched-
Braves. I
right.
was watching the
There you
Braves because
go.
they were always on TV,
There you
and those
go.
were those 90s teams that were like dominant.
did y'all know this?
No,
Y'all
no,
are
no, no.
baseball brothers in that way.
I don't like the I don't like the Braves anymore.
God, Marty.
I messed everything up.
Just go with
I
it.
used to be a
God
Falcons fan when I first started watching football, and then at some point I was like, I'm just gonna take every team from where I'm from. And the first jersey I ever had, funny enough, Algie Crumpler.
Oh, we talked about that.
L.G.
Yeah,
Crumpler.
University of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Tight end for forever. Yeah, he's.
I just never wanted to be the guy that had the Vic jersey. I want to be like below the
Algae Crump.
Algie Crumpler.
You know who he is, right? Number 83, I believe.
No.
So yeah.
His kids thank you for those pack of ramen noodles
know
they
who
got for
Algae
you
Crumpler is?
buying that jersey. You were the
Dude, he
only
was
person
an
that.
He was good. He
all-pro
was good.
tight end.
Who is Algae?
Awesome.
His name is Algae?
Yeah, ALGAE, I think.
What is happening? I thought you were
Algernon
fucking
Crumpler.
around. Algie
Wait,
Crumpler is
what?
awesome.
No, you're joking. That's not real.
They're the same first name as
Yeah,
Platt.
Algie Crumpler. He was unreal.
He was good. Oh,
Second round, North Carolina. Thank you very much.
yeah,
He is awesome.
Eric Ebron.
Very, very, very good.
Man.
Anytime I get an
Here's,
Ebron
I'm gonna pull up
reference
his.
in
I'm gonna pull up his stats.
there. It says LG. Yeah, that's where this podcast goes sometimes. LG Crumpler.
Yeah, I mean, as far as tight ends go, look at this. Touchdowns: 3, 5, 3, 6, 5, 8, 5.
Well, back then
That's
it
a
was
lot.
And then that 1-1-2, it's like Jason Witten's
The
next 2
last
years
3,
with the
he wasn't
Cowboys.
with the same team, you fool. Yeah, all with Atlanta. He was really, really, really good. Look at that. 118 catches, 103 catches back-to-back year. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
I played tight end in high school.
118 catches as a tight end is fucking awesome.
Wait, go
Yeah,
to
as a
this last
receiver, that's
couple.
good.
What, these last 3?
No, go to those last ones.
Okay, well.
Over under, Jason
many-
Witten does better
Oh, fuck you, man.
next year.
God damn it.
Jason
Fuck
Witten.
you, man.
than those last 3.
Over under 30 catches for Jason Witten. I'd go under.
Over.
Also, has the NFL developed, like, I know that they have,
a
like,
game.
headphones where, like, coaches, they can hear players calling things. Have they developed hearing aids to where that it helps
Are you
them
seriously
also hear
saying right now that you don't want Jason Witten on the Browns?
on the Browns?
No, why would anybody want Jason Witten on their team?
What a weird thing to say. He's with the Cowboys.
He retired. He's been out of the game for he quit
Hall
playing.
of Famer.
What are we talking? Do I
Okay,
want
yeah.
Derek Jeter on the Indians too? What are we
We're not
talking
talking.
about?
He doesn't get the ball every single time. He's a great route runner. I'm not. This is not for camera. He's a great route runner. He's not going to get 16 touchdowns this year. Well, I've been over this on the past like 2 fucking things. He's not going to catch 16.
This is why 4 weeks ago when this broke, I asked on this podcast.
He's not
commented
going to
every
catch 16
like 10
touchdowns
minutes. I was like,
in 1
talk
year.
about Jason Witten.
He's all he's
This
going to
is
do
what
is
I
run a
wanna do.
right route. It's going to be a safety blanket, a drop down. I've said that before.
I would rather have Randy Moss right now than Jason Witten. Right
I'm
now.
really
I'm gonna
excited
flip
for
this table.
the traveling drunk
Come on, Randy Moss.
spin-off podcast called
Randy-
The Witten Hour.
Randy Moss could still do it. It's like the witching hour. I get it.
Wouldn't you or wouldn't you?
No,
Brett
God,
Favre.
I hate
Loser
you.
game show sounds. No,
Sweet
Randy
Jesus.
Moss can still do it right now. Come on.
Randy?
Come on.
We were talking
Jason Witten is okay. Look, no one's saying he's
I
going
have
to do
no
this
idea what's
fucking
happening.
Gronk thing. He's going to be a great safety blanket. All jokes
he did the Gronk
aside,
thing, he retired.
you know I'm right when I'm saying this. He's going to be. You read the comments.
Yeah.
I don't know what
That's
you're
like-
fucking saying.
If your season is depending on Witten being an integral part of your team, you're in trouble.
Yeah, Tate would take him on the Dolphins. He would catch all 5 passes that season.
Fucking
Yeah.
Tate.
Hey, Tate, once
That
again.
was funny, man. That was great.
That
was funny.
And Tate, I know, has such a soft spot for Landry too, and I really appreciate that, Tate. And
Anyways,
yeah,
so. Yeah, Jason Witten's awesome. Okay, so next fact. Do we just want to barrel into the Browns?
Oh, I was just gonna say the Browns. Yeah, let's barrel right into it.
Let's get right into it. Let's
Let's
get
go
right
for
in.
it.
What are we in? Fucking minute 20?
You're a Browns fan too.
Let's skip the first like 15 minutes and just get right to this part. 'Cause this is.
Wait, so what's the deal with the Browns? You don't like them? You do like them? What's the controversial thing that's gonna happen here?
I love the Browns.
Right, but you hate
I
all
hate
the, but you
every-
hate all
I
their
hate
players.
the roster.
You hate the players.
I hate the roster.
Who do you hate, Brett?
He hates all of them. He hates,
Who do you hate?
You say it for yourself.
Okay, well let's get one thing out of straight. All jokes aside, I hate to be the fucking sober Sally over here, but just one thing really quickly. Let's just say we hate Kareem Hunt.
I don't hate Kareem Hunt. I think he's a young man that got caught up in some bad altercations, and like he's a
Multiple
human being.
times. It's not like this is the first time it's happened.
There are other
Multiple
people playing in the NFL that have done much.
You're right.
worse than
He's
him.
fine. Let's
I'm not
give him
saying
all.
he's
No, that's
fine.
fine. You're excusing it.
I'm just saying he's
You're
a young
excusing
man
it.
and he
Well,
got in
someone
a
else
bad
does it.
predicament.
Fuck it. It's like getting caught speeding. Well, they were all speeding. Yeah, but I caught you.
Worse.
And we're not talking about those people. We're talking about Kareem Hunt and the Browns. And I'm saying that Kareem got an 8-game suspension as a young man. That's his profession.
I guess Joe
Maybe
Mixon.
as an older man, it'd be fine.
That's not what I'm saying.
He's saying that it's more excusable because he's an idiot because he's young.
And we're not going to go into the actual situation of that young lady and
When I
how
was-
she was underage and she shouldn't have been there and she was drunk.
Right.
And all
He's off the hook. He's off the hook.
When I was 20, when I
that's
was
not off the hook.
When I was 22, I never really thought that hitting a woman was cool, and then I learned my lesson later on in life.
That's true. It'd be different if Kareem Hunt actually
Listen,
hit a woman.
this is my whole thing on it. It's fine if you hate the players. It's football. You're not watching it. If you're watching football on Sunday, you're not in church. You're not
Right.
going there for the morals.
Right. That's what it's just insane.
You can hate,
like
you're gonna
the
cheer when he
weird,
scores
like,
a touchdown. You're not gonna be like, oh, that counts as half.
Why do we do that? I don't understand. Like, it's different with those situations where it's like, just let the law take. That's what I don't like about Kareem Hunt. Why didn't we just let the judge and jury, the law, decide it? And you know what? The NFL looked at it and was like, no, we're going to be the higher order here and we're going to dole out the punishment. Because you know what the law saw with him was nothing. And they were like,
Well,
we're
he has
good.
money. He can
We're
kind of
gonna
make it go away. I mean, the same
That's
thing.
not true. They interviewed her and him and her friends and his friends, and they all said, and I'm not saying that the Cleveland PD was without fault. There was a lot of sketchy stuff there, but it should have gone to trial then. If it was as big a deal as they're making it, take it to trial. She has the right to do that.
He is not wrong at all on any of that. I think I actually
That's all I'm saying.
that's a great point. The only thing I'll say, and I'm not calling you wrong on this, I think the only thing that I would point out was that fucking video that came out. Okay, so everybody yells at the NFL about being like the worst, about dealing with all these domestic violence issues, dealing with all these things. Do you think that it was maybe them like jumping the gun? Because when that video comes out and they do nothing, guess what the fuck happens? There's a whole this sounds like I'm like yelling.
No,
I'm not. I'm just
not
saying
at all.
like
I'm not
why wouldn't that be something where they'd be like, okay, we're gonna deal out a punishment. Now let's say that was the case. Were they too quick to judge, as Stuart very semi-eloquently pointed out, that nothing got proven guilty or anything like that? It was fine after that.
Well, it's weird that you say that, and that you say let it go to trial. And I don't really care. Kareem Hunt, whatever you want. I'm watching football. I don't care if he's a piece of shit or what. I mean, not that it's a good thing that he is.
Really?
I'm not rooting for him to do bad things.
I'm glad that this
if
is
you're
where
on
we're at when we started the segment. Let's talk about the Browns.
If you're-
we're
if
into, I don't care if he's.
We're only through-
I told everybody, shut the fuck in.
We're not even through one player yet. We're not even through one player yet.
He's the
We're
only
not.
player. He's the only player that we're going to have that conversation about. Nobody else on that team we're going to have this conversation about.
I mean, a lot of people don't like Odell, but before we get to that,
Oh my God.
he hates everybody on the damn team. He says
Everyone.
He's gonna become a Steelers fan. He told me.
Can we do the Odell thing? Can we do the Odell thing?
It's fucking just go.
The last thing I want to say, when you said let it go to trial and all that,
Yes.
it seems on the video like it's clear proof of assault. Like there's video evidence that he assaulted her, like he kicked her. So I mean, he kicked her like my 3-year-old.
I was gonna
my
say that
2-year-old.
was like that was the least part of the whole thing. He like nudged her over.
But he
him,
missed.
so-
Yeah. So we were talking earlier about the double standard thing. Like, if you don't, I mean, not that it's ever right to hit a woman. We always preface it by saying that. But
You get hit first.
Don't-
I mean, she hit him.
if it's not okay to hit a woman, don't hit a
It's
man.
not, but yeah.
So Odell, I'm in like the viewpoint where I don't care about all like the flamboyance and the stuff he does on the sidelines and like,
Odell.
yeah, if you're like that, like this is my
What's a
talked about
flamboyant?
this.
That's what I want to know.
people.
We talk- yeah, let's
flamboyant?
get into
Older
this.
people don't like the hair, like the chain.
Hair's fine. Wait,
what?
let's get into no. Let's
People get
I'm
mad when
defending-
he does stuff on the sidelines, and the same thing happened with Des Bryant. And it's like, how are you gonna, on one side, say you want these people to care and it's their job and they've been doing it for their whole life, and on the other side,
So
when
you're saying that's what people
I
are
like
saying.
Odell. I love
Okay,
him.
sorry.
But on the other side,
what you're-
you say that you want these guys to care so much and it's their job and it's their life. And on the other side, as soon as they care too much and go a little bit over the line, then it's
Then
like, oh, that's
you're-
too much.
Yeah.
I would love a guy on my team to like want to. Maybe you don't express it in the best ways.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I know he hates him.
He doesn't.
All right,
hate it.
He's gonna
so
score a touchdown. He's gonna cheer. I mean,
fuck no.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
no,
Yes.
because that's my main. Look, we're gonna get actually way deep into some roots here in a minute, but like that's the whole thing with the whole LeBron. I mean, I'm gonna bring it up now. That's
No, let's stay on topic. Let's stay on
that's it
topic.
though.
Stay on topic.
That's it though, because he's like,
Stay
well,
on
as soon as he does well, then he's gonna pull for him. I'm not a sheep. I stick by my words. I'm not a hypocrite. If I don't like somebody, I'm gonna stick by it. Now, trying as very
no
hard as I
matter
can to
what,
steer away
that's
from
true.
LeBron.
No matter what other facts or anything else happens, he makes a statement and then he's just gonna stick with it.
That's
no matter what the
He just said it.
semi-incorrect.
That's what you just said.
Look.
No matter what else.
Why do you
Yeah.
hate him? Why do you not like him so much? What has he done to you?
We're talking about Odell,
How did he
right?
hurt
Yeah.
Fax this fuckhead over here. What the fuck he did to me?
Stretch cried. Stretch had one tear going down his cheek when they traded him, and you
I
had
said
one
the
going
fucking
down.
second that goddamn thing ever has play of the year. Like it's fucking play of the year. Fucking goddamn stupid. I hate it so much. Anyways, other than that,
I'm gonna get you a shirt with that catch
let
on
me.
it. In a Browns superimposed jersey.
You guys ever seen that Rage Against the Machine album cover with the monk who lit himself on fire? That the very first album. That's gonna be me if that ever happens.
Sleep now.
Lit himself. Yeah, exactly. We can play that song.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back to the whole fucking goddamn Odell. I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm so blacked out. I don't even want to, like, not from alcohol, but from rage. I don't even want to see this fucking
Yeah, me too.
stats. But
Lord.
so
Roll Tide.
don't even care.
But you haven't even said it. Why do you hate him? Put out a case. Like what? I
Okay,
mean-
so we went over this a little bit during
Right. I know,
like
yeah. We talked about it.
dinner,
I'm
which
all
no
for
one
it.
ate, but
Boring.
I drank. So if
you are
you,
blacked
and we've been over this before. If you all everybody sees is, I don't know. I'll let you have your say.
No, yeah, go
all,
ahead.
all you ever see is the perception, right? So you see Odell throwing these tantrums, punching not actual like people
That's
fans, but
fun.
fans like in the little.
The
Like
net.
actual fan, and then a net.
It's a
no, he
kicking
played.
net.
He did a whole. No, he did the net, but he did fans as well. Like all sorts of shit. He likes punching
you ever see him punch a
inanimate
fan?
objects. Sorry to interrupt. Anyway, so then you get Antonio Brown, who's
making sure.
throwing fucking Gatorade bottles and all this shit. You can't see what's going on. Is he dead? Throwing fists and doing all this stuff. Like what the fuck is going on? If you, here's my case in point here. If you mic them up, which they are mic'd up.
Thank you, my beautiful wife, Shayla.
It's my sister-in-law, everybody. If you mic them up,
I get the same thing too. I brought drinks too.
no one gives a shit. I'm trying to make a great point. God damn it. Please tune into the dark hour later.
You can do it. Come on.
If you mic, I'm in the middle of the thing. If you mic them up, no one's even gonna pay attention to mine. If you mic them up, all Dez is saying is, we are the best fucking team. I know this is a movie. I have such a serious point. I
What were
fucking
you
hate
talking about
everybody
again?
in the
Sorry.
fucking room right now.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
If you mic, okay. Well, I'll
Just
start.
make
I'll
it
start the other way. I'll start the other way. If you
just
mic Odell up and if you mic Antonio Brown up, all they're screaming about is give me the fucking ball. That's not wrong. They're just saying like, look, I'm fucking open. What is going on here? What is going on? All Dez is saying when mic'd up, this is facts. He said we are the best team in the league. We should be winning. It doesn't matter about me getting the ball. It doesn't matter about anything else. He's so many tantrums. Everybody's like, wow, what a fucking asshole. He wants the team to win. Now, that's not saying that Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham don't want to win, but in those said tantrums, I hate your face, in those said tantrums, it's about them, and with Dez's tantrum, it's about the team. Go.
But the
I don't
point.
even have to argue that.
The point is the same. Like when Odell says "get me the fucking ball," it's because if anyone played with Eli Manning as their quarterback for the last 2 or 3 years, they'd be frustrated.
No!
Yes, he sucks.
No!
Yes, he does.
You know what? You know what's a great. All you have to do is switch to one other sport. Go to basketball. If Michael Jordan was on the sideline, and I'm sure it happened in multiple games, give me the fucking ball.
He punched Steve
Are
Kerr
you
in the
gonna
face.
say, oh,
Dez is Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
That's what I'm
is gonna
saying.
win the
Dez
game.
is Michael
Give him
Jordan. That's who he's referring to. It's not Antonio Brown.
It doesn't matter.
They told him the third greatest of all time. The
If
third
Damian
greatest.
Lillard is on the
the third
court
greatest of
for
all time?
Portland, and somebody else, if CJ's not hurt, and CJ's great, but if it's a tight spot and CJ's been the one taking the last 6 shots,
Shut the fuck up.
and they're still down like 6, and Dame's goes there in timeout,
It's
and Dame
different.
goes,
It's different.
Give me the ball.
It's different. He gets the ball in every possession.
Yeah.
Dez doesn't
And
get
I
the ball
love
in every possession.
CJ, big Browns fan. Love you, CJ. What
definitely
up,
watching.
dog? Dog pound forever.
I don't know if he watches live. He might watch it later.
He's definitely watching. I
He'll watch
texted
it on
him
the
earlier.
plane.
Yeah.
But so
So Brett's point against Odell is that when Odell has fits, or Odell acts out as opposed to Dez or Terrell Owens or any other
T.O.
major athlete, my point to him earlier was that no, if a player is on a big
That was a
winning
T.O.
team,
I know what it was.
if a player is on a winning team,
Jesus.
a big winning team, and they act out, it's look at the passion he has.
Passion.
Look at the will. He
He's
wants
stealing
to win.
this from me
Look at all
earlier
that.
at
But
Gators
if you're on a
backside.
bad team and you act that way, everybody says, well, he's acting like a diva, or he's
Distraction,
too,
distraction.
or he's too emotional, or whatever. And it's like, well, that's
Distraction.
There's a distraction.
Distraction.
It's a double standard that's obscene, and it makes no sense.
The thing about receivers too is it's the one position. I mean, you compare it to
Right.
you compare it to basketball, but
What other sport?
you're dependent on you getting your stats and your team winning by them getting you the ball.
Yes.
What's the best case scenario for the Giants when he was there to win a game? For them to get him the ball. So he has a right to be frustrated if he thinks he's open, if he's being under or overthrown. What is he supposed to be like? It's okay. It doesn't really matter. Like,
So if you're Mark Carrier for the Browns or for the Bears and they're giving the ball to fucking Sweetness the whole time, is that your job to demand the ball?
Also, if you're Odell and you're playing with a quarterback that is in obvious decline, and
2
you have
Super Bowl rings.
and you have that, okay, that's
Better than Phillip Rivers
that's
or not?
cool, but are you saying he's not in obvious decline? Are you saying Eli Manning is not in obvious decline?
he sucks. I already said it. He's not as good
Okay,
as Phillip Rivers.
so if you're Odell Beckham, Odell's in his
I jumped the gun there. I
prime.
jumped the gun there. That's fine.
If you're in your prime as a receiver and your team just drafted possibly one of the greatest running backs we're going to see in the next 10 years
calm
with
down.
Saquon Barkley,
Calm down.
are you not saying, get me out of here with this dude that can't throw the ball? It's like Peyton Manning in those years. It's like
I'll
Peyton
hear
can't
that
throw.
argument. With no one's argument that would.
And nobody was arguing that Peyton couldn't throw.
Peyton can't throw.
yeah,
He couldn't at that point. So
Stretch-
why haven't the Giants why haven't the Giants done that with Eli?
Stretch and I were.
Why have they made all these moves, but somehow they keep Eli, but they've traded
That's actually a good point. Why wouldn't he leave?
Ben McAdoo tried to bench him, and he literally got fired because of it.
It's insane. Of course Odell should leave. And of course he's mad on the sideline because he's dealing with Eli's old horse-faced country ass can't throw the ball to him at all. Get me out of here. I'm in my prime. Do you know how frustrated I'd be?
If we're going into personal attacks, he does look like he needs the helmet off the field too.
Damn.
You're not the first person who's ever said that.
Seriously.
And Jamie is the first person who's ever heard that joke. So I guess we're 2 for 2
Just
here.
slip his headshot into a list of like Triple Crown winners.
Jesus.
And he'd be in there. Damn.
So
like, that kills me.
Well,
It's
we were
like,
talking
yeah, of
about
course
when
he
it
wants to go.
happened. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but I was thinking of the dynamic between Odell and Eli, and then Odell and Baker.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, they're like, if he's doing that with Eli, and he's like a Super Bowl winning quarterback, he has this pedigree, and he should be respected. I was like, I feel like Odell would almost get along more with Baker because they're similar in age, and like. Odell Beckham's not hanging out with Eli Manning off the field. I bet you for sure he'll be hanging out with Baker, and they'll have a much better rapport. I guarantee.
Rajon Rondo's a NBA champion point guard too, but you don't see people, all stars trying to hang around him either. So
Well, Rondo's an
I don't want to be in the same city as Rajon Rondo. Fucking loser.
So to bounce from the Odell, so the Baker in college obviously had a very troubled time. Not as much as Johnny Manziel, but close. He gave him a run for his money. So my point to my brother here was,
Oh,
Have we
shit.
seen anything since Baker's been in the NFL besides the charity work he's done, the way that he's led this team, the way that he's supported his teammates, and he's rallied around this city? Have I seen anything that makes me go, he's that same guy at Oklahoma? And to me,
He didn't
no.
even do anything in Oklahoma. It's the same
Oh,
thing.
he did,
It's
though.
the same thing with, what did he do? He planted the flag at midfield. I love that.
I mean, the crotch grabs, I mean, the things like that.
He's 18, he's 19.
I know, hey, I'm with you.
Who didn't do something more
Right. Everybody who's 18 does that. No one is going to argue that. Do you want that person leading your NFL team?
Yeah, I would
Yes.
I would take him
As
over
long as
Stafford
they-
right now, guaranteed.
You're talking talent.
But
Talent is something else. Go ahead, Stuart. You're
but
wrong on that.
If we're talking Browns, it's different for a Browns fan too. If
Exactly, they're blind to
if he
it.
can get, that's why when we drafted him, I was so upset because I was like, this is our nightmare all over again. I have nothing else to tell me that this is not the exact same thing.
Johnny
all
Manziel
over
2.0.
again. Exactly.
You know, fucking maniac.
I am so glad that I
But
was
he's
wrong.
winning.
He never
So
had
now-
trouble
no,
with
but
drugs
he's
or anything
winning.
like
So now
that.
but he's winning. So now people like that are hypocrites.
It's not Johnny Manziel and Baker.
As long as
are
he
not the
wins, he
same
can do whatever he
thing.
wants.
If that
You
makes me
said
a hypocrite,
yourself.
yeah.
You said yourself. You're like, look, yeah, this fucking idiot. I didn't want him.
No, I
Johnny
didn't want
Manziel
him at
2.0.
all.
What has
And
he
now
done?
he's winning. Well, now it's okay.
All right, it's only 1 year. What has he done since he's been in the NFL that makes
That's
you think
video
that he's like
recording.
immature or anything?
That's
What-
video recording.
And that's what my point I'm making, because I'm telling y'all right now that I was 100 as a lifelong Browns fan, I was 100% wrong on Baker. I unfollowed some guys on Twitter. I made a fuss on Twitter about us drafting this guy. Not as much of a fuss I made when we drafted Johnny, but because that's all I saw. I was blinded to it because of from the Kozars to the Kaisers. I mean,
Yeah, but when you say that, I know you're saying they all sucked, but I do think they have the right approach.
Kozars, Kaisers, not
Yeah, well, they do. All those guys sucked, but they do have the right approach. Keep drafting a quarterback until one works, and
I
it
guess.
seems like it finally worked.
I wouldn't say that's a mold that NFL teams should take because the Browns did it and it was terrible. But the credit should go to John Dorsey. John has done an absolute phenomenal change in the culture and the
Yeah, he was
atmosphere in
Kareem Hunt's
Cleveland.
GM when they were in KC.
Yeah. I mean, look, hey, say what you want. John, when he was in KC,
No, it
got
was
that
a-
team to where they're going now.
It was a callback to when
Yeah.
Brett said, "Oh,
Right.
John Dorsey." I was like, "Oh, John Dorsey."
I love John. I think I don't know about. I'm not going to sit here and plant my flag on Freddie Kitchens, even though he's
Like
a
Baker
Bama
did?
guy. Yeah, I'm not going to Baker plant my flag on Freddie. I know he's a Bama guy, and I should be like a all homer vote for him, but I don't know. But what I do know is that the players on both sides of the ball are the most exciting and genuinely talented, and the camaraderie there.
You actually have hope next year, which
And
you haven't
it's
had in a
not
long time.
unfounded to me.
No, of course, yeah.
People are like, our Vegas over/under is 8.5, I think, right now for next
I
year.
think it's higher than that.
No.
Because
it's not.
they're favorite to win the division. So
It's
how's
got-
that not? So you're
That
the
just speaks to
division
the
winner's going to win
division, I
8
think.
games?
I mean,
Somebody look that up. 8.5.
that just speaks to the division, though. I mean,
So
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that's all I'm saying is.
Okay, so where we are with that was that we hated him because yeah, thank you, Tate. So we didn't like him at all, and when we found out that he's like almost every athlete on the planet who has some type of video of him giving back to the public, it's fine.
Yeah, that thing I don't really care about that. Everybody around the whole stadium has like
Right.
Baker's ball or
All is forgiven.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you don't have to. I'm not saying that I'm whatever.
Well, when he came in before halftime of that game, like I don't know if you remember watching it. It was
Which game? You said that game.
It was Tyrod when he came in. It was Tyrod starting. He got hurt.
When he came in for the first time. 'Cause
Yeah,
he came into a lot of games.
When he came in for the first.
Okay.
When he came in before halftime of the first game and he drove them down, I was watching that game and it was like sounds like corny or cliche to say, it was like electric watching that game. Like he completed like his first 4 passes. They went right down. It was
Josh McDowell did the same thing 2 years before. Walked right down the field, opening drive against the Jets. The Jets who had a top 3 defense that year. But then he got a concussion in the end zone.
But he
also
also
saying that he wouldn't have done the same thing.
Well, Baker also followed it up with like a rookie record for touchdowns, I think.
Yeah. Well, Josh McCown wasn't a rookie, so I guess you have me on that one.
No, I was more talking about like once he came in.
That's a weird number to like throw out as a comparison to future and athleticism.
Yeah, Josh McCown. Like I mean.
Well, no, but was I the only one watching that opening drive? Was I the only one watching that opening drive? He walked right down the field on a top 3 defense, scored a touchdown, got a concussion, and then all of a sudden we fucking sucked after that. Because you know who came in after that? Johnny Manziel. Because he had 1 drive to learn from. You know who had 4 games to learn from? This is a whole nother topic, is what you should never start a rookie quarterback. Let them learn behind that is fucking Baker had 4 games to learn behind shitty-ass Tyrod Taylor. At least he had time. If you had plugged Baker in game 1, if you had plugged Baker in game 1, we would have probably gone 3-13.
I think if you plugged him into game 1, you would have made the playoffs.
Josh McCown has never woken up feeling dangerous.
You said
unless he was with somebody the night before that he may have not should have been.
You
with.
said that Tyrod was bad, but then you're saying that somehow Baker learned something for the first 4 games behind him. Like
yes, that's what. Okay, so look.
You said he sucked. What is he learning?
I have no idea what's happening now.
Okay. If you're a rookie quarterback and you go against every single the NFL is, believe it or not, a lot different than collegiate football.
Really?
So if you're going up against, I know this is really weird. I know that's what I'm saying. Like why do I even have to fucking say that? Is because you're bringing him in.
But you just said that Tyrod Taylor sucked. So what is he learning in those first 4 games?
Sorry.
You're learning the offense. You're learning how fast the fucking defense plays. Like if you drop him in, okay, all right. If you're Jeff George and you're the #1 pick out of fucking Syracuse in 1989, and now all of a sudden you're dropping him in first game, you don't know how the fucking all the speed of the NFL is totally different than the speed of collegiate. Everyone is going to agree on that. I'm not wrong on that. No.
But how are you going to learn what the speed is if you're watching on the sidelines?
You can see it in the fucking tape. You don't look. I'm saying you learn from the plays that you're running. You're learning from all these things. You don't have that exact same tape in college. You had you're learning these plays. This is what happens. This is what happens with this play. Okay, they're going to get there that quickly. That's
what do you think he's doing in the off season? Like sitting around watching home movies? Like he's watching tape in the off season.
Ask Marcus Russell about that shit, man.
That you can't bring up like one of the biggest busts of all time and compare it to like.
That's an actual point. No, that's not just a random bust. That's an actual point that Marcus Russell brought home a tape, but that said, hey, study this.
Yeah,
everyone fucking knows that. Okay, so that was an actual
the story
point
where he put the thing.
That's an actual point.
Yeah, he put the coach. If you don't know the story, the coach put like a different. The coach put like a different DVD.
I'm gonna pull out the Chappelle Wrap It Up box.
So fucking so it's just okay. So if you're
David Carr would have been a good example if you wanted to put a quarterback to not start right away. That would have been a good example.
Okay, fine. David Carr, put him behind somebody to fucking learn.
But that's one of the worst offensive lines.
Tom Brady learned behind Drew Bledsoe, and actually, if you want to go 2 for 2, sorry to interrupt. Tony Romo also learned behind Drew Bledsoe. Aaron Rodgers learned behind Brett Favre. All these other players, superstars, did not go right into it.
Aaron Rodgers did not learn behind.
Even just my presence here
it's a fact.
Made him this way.
It's a fact.
That's what happens.
It's a fact that Brett Favre did not teach Aaron Rodgers. He did not want to teach him
while he was learning all those things. I mean, you're right. It's not like he taught him everything he knew. You're right.
Brett Favre actively did not want to help Aaron Rodgers. That's why.
Everyone knows that as well. But I'm just saying, if you're looking at the tape, okay, look, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're getting used to all this. Look, dude,
you guys are supposed to be arguing.
Okay, so you two can look at the NFL tape right now and go quarterback right now. That's what you're saying. It's all both of you are saying.
I don't have the athleticism.
If you look at tape, that's all you're good to go. That's all you have to do.
I don't think I can
no
do
idea
what
you guys are talking about.
All you have to do is look at tape. That's all you have to do.
I was talking about Baker.
But if you're on the sidelines, what is that helping you? You're not seeing the speed. You're not under center.
Yes, you are seeing the speed. Or what are you looking like this?
They're sitting on the bench.
Wait.
Can you not see the field from the bench?
So you're looking like, oh, well, those guys are really fast. I had no idea.
Exactly. 100%.
This is what the off the rails feels like. It's like I'm at Epcot, but things are getting shaky.
You guys are supposed to argue, not me.
I know. Let's talk. Let's move on. The Browns thing was the weird thing.
What's the biggest thing you guys disagree on the most? Let's get that going.
I was hoping to talk about baseball since the national holiday of opening day is tomorrow.
There you go.
Nothing controversial there.
What's your ritual for opening day? What do you guys do? Get hammered?
I start drinking at 7 in the morning at Wally's, but it is closed down, so we have to like wait a whole hour to go to fucking like 8 a.m. I think at a couple places, but I know a decent amount of places open up at 9.
What's on at 7 a.m.? There's no games at 7 a.m.
No.
You just start drinking at 7 a.m.?
Yeah, I think the first game is at 1 Eastern time, and then like 90% of the games are at 4, and then like the Boston and Mariners, that's a weird way to say it, but the Red Sox and Mariners play at 7. They're the only 7 o'clock game, which is weird. So they're really just pushing on the day drinking for people. They're like, yeah, just go out.
I know the Tigers play the Blue Jays, so we'll be 0-4 pretty soon.
Are you guys counting wins this year? Or?
I think we're like the second or third lowest for over/under. I think ours is like 68.
Oh, but you know what I heard? I don't know if you saw. I think it was yesterday. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Miggy apparently is on this big thing of everybody's doubting me. I'm gonna prove them all wrong this year. Whatever that means for him and the Tigers, like, does he go like
I would hope
28 and like 78?
I would hope that he would be trying every year and not just because people are doubting him. We lost Michael Fulmer, who Brett said wasn't our best pitcher.
He's on the IL. I like that now. The IL.
It's Tommy John, so he's out, I think, for the year.
It's crazy because he's like 27 or something.
Yeah,
he's just not getting.
Well, after the podcast, I said.
Guys get that.
Well, sometimes you come back better, but it's not going to be for this year. We're not going to do anything this year.
Now you have, what is it, Shane Green is like your closer guy now?
Zimmerman is supposed to be like the opening day starter, but he's been under 500 the last couple years, and
decent bats. I mean, I'm not saying that you guys are going to make a playoff.
No, I was more just making fun of my own team. I
was just saying, like, what do you have, like, what are you looking at?
No, I have no hope. I mean, Zimmerman, I looked at it, he's under 500 the last couple years. He's always hurt. Fulmer was a pretty decent pitcher, but like I said,
I think Fulmer would have been. He's a shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like
well, he's still young. I mean, some people come back better from Tommy John.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Maybe we can get to LeBron afterwards.
Oh Lord.
How far in are we? I'll be right back.
He's gonna be right back. Give us plenty of time to get excited about popping pop.
I thought you were telling me 2 minutes.
LeBron learned nothing.
No. We got like 25 more comments. Other than that, it's a fucking absolute insanity.
Yeah, well, LeBron really didn't play with a vet, really. I mean,
I know. I said it was totally. There's like 25 more comments.
Really, honestly, I'm trying to think of like who was a vet that LeBron ever played with that was like worth a damn. Like,
well, y'all were so happy about Channing Frye when you got him from the Magic, and I was like, look,
love
man,
Channing. We're giving him like a big thing. I saw. I mean,
already tapping out.
He's become such a big family of our Cavs family. I mean, I love Channing. Channing's Kevin, K-Love, my wife, the only man I think my wife would possibly leave me for, Kevin Love.
Antoine Jameson?
If you count him as a vet, sure. I mean, he came in the same draft as Vince Carter, I guess, so... Did Vince come in after Dirk or pre-Dirk? It's probably the
What do you
same.
consider vet? I mean, you're always gonna consider someone who's been there for more than 5 years a vet. So.
Stretch, you Wikipedia son of a... That's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess Anto would be... But that was the weirdest... That was the worst, like, Cavs year where, like, Dan looked at this team and was like... I think about that all the time now. Think about those early year Cavs teams making the finals versus the Eastern Final teams that make it now.
Keep talking. I want Marty to read this third comment.
Think about like Boobie Gibson,
mainly the last part of the
Anton Jameson,
just the last part.
Like,
you know what I mean? So it's like they're still
Delonte West. LeBron
James experience.
Anderson Varejao.
They're a part of it. They're not just saying they're doing this.
No, but they're not playing in the game.
Hey, don't hate on Mo. That's my boy. Roll Tide. But still, Hey, Mo was there in 16 and he won his ring. I'm talking about the early years of Cavs. We had nobody. I mean, nobody. That's what's wild.
Like now.
Those Eastern teams that LeBron led to the finals, think about those teams against any Eastern team now. It's a joke. Well, it's a joke. Those teams would have no chance now against anybody in the East. And the East isn't even that stacked this year.
I mean, the top half is pretty good. I mean, the Celtics are the 5th best team, and that's just because they came.
5th best team in the, you mean the league?
In the East. You said the East, right?
The Celtics are the 5th best team in the East?
That's what their seed is right now. They're the 5 seed.
I mean, seeding's one thing, but you really think that they should get that seed? I mean, they had a brutal. Yeah, I mean that's okay.
Who said it? Your record is what you are. What your record says you are. I mean, that's stupid saying, but it's true.
Yeah, that's.
He's like, I still don't believe it, even though I'm looking at it right now.
Well, I'm biased because I went to Philadelphia and saw the Cavaliers beat the Sixers this year, and that was beautiful.
But Magic have done it a few times.
Didn't the Suns or the Cavs just beat the Warriors by like 35? The Suns beat the Warriors by 35. KD is like, oh, it's not weird.
And then the Suns lost to like Brooklyn the next night by like the same amount. And Devin Booker got like 50, and we're like, look at Devin Booker.
59. Like, Devin Booker's good. You know like Devin Booker?
I don't dislike him. I just don't. I look at those stats when he pops up those big numbers, and I'm like, cool, like good for you. Like it's like you were the last drunk guy at a skee ball.
That's not true. That's
good for you. Wow, what a great numbers you put up. Like great for you.
That's not true. He's a good player. There's good players on bad teams.
Nobody else on his team cares. So you're just like fucking shoot it, man. Like just go for it.
No, there's a difference. There's a whole looter and a riot theory where it's like
it doesn't tell me that Devin Booker is like elite or anything else other than nobody else on that team wanted to shoot, and they're like Devin's kind of hot, so let's just give him the ball. And he's really good at it when he does. Yeah, but I'm not building a team around Devin, and nor are the Suns, and their owner is terrible. And he knows
they are building a team around them.
Ooh, buddy, if you're a Suns fan and you said that and you believed it.
I'm not a Suns fan.
I know you're not.
He's going to get a max contract.
Man, that is sad. He's not going to get
How is that sad? What are you
going to give him a max?
Any team that has an open slot. Hassan Whiteside has a max contract. That's the way the NBA is now.
I thought there's a whole argument about whether Anton Jameson played with LeBron or not.
I think he did.
Sadly, Tate and Brian Bond are on the wrong side of this. Daniel Shannon is on the right side of this, as he normally is with stats. And Tate saying
Anton was like because he got hurt, too. Are you saying that Anton didn't play with LeBron?
Do we start talking about like old Cavs teams when I left?
Oh, Danny is saying that they did, and they did. But, yeah.
I mean.
So what's the LeBron thing? You don't like what's the whole like? You're like, oh, we'll talk about LeBron later, and you're like
the grand finale here.
What is it? Someone doesn't like him. Somebody does. Should we arm wrestle or?
No, because I'll lose or we'll both lose. Either way.
Yeah, we both lose.
Can you just ask somebody to give me a fucking some type of drink or something like that?
How do you want to start?
I'm excited to see who's.
I don't give a shit what it is. I don't give a shit what it is.
I'm excited to see what side I'm on. I don't know who's on what side.
You'll probably be on his.
Yeah?
You'll probably be on his. As is the rest of the public.
You think LeBron in his rookie season should have sat on the bench and not started so he could have learned?
That's a totally different sport. Totally different sport.
I know.
Totally different sport. Jesus Christ. You want to take the lead on this one? You want me to?
You take the lead.
All right. So, where I'm gonna cheers, buddy. Let's get the last friendliness of this whole fucking ordeal out of the way. The moment you've all been waiting for.
Opening day is tomorrow.
Opening is tomorrow. We're gonna be fucking boys again.
I don't even know what's about to happen. I'm excited.
Central.
Hey. Worst division in baseball.
That's a knock and cupcake because we don't pull for that shit in fucking pro.
Anyway, rooting for our divisions. That old thing.
Eloy Jimenez won't be called up till 3 months later. Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. Let's. It's a nice teaser.
Indians, the last team with that mascot still on there.
I wore this for you.
I appreciate that. I don't have any Tigers gear because they suck too bad.
You know, they shouldn't be caged. They should be allowed to roam freely.
All All right, you ready?
They never had a tiger on their logo, did they?
I'm trying.
No.
Let's see it.
Honestly.
Let's see it.
All right, you ready?
All right. So, where I am with this, I'm in too good of a mood to fucking dive into this right now.
Do you want to not do it?
Well,
Why
no,
would this put
this
you
is
in a
why
bad
he's here.
mood?
No, this is why he's here.
I just don't know why to put you in a bad mood.
So, God. For every family gathering, this is the only thing that, when anything turns out, we're actually really good friends aside from a few sports things, and this is the only thing that gets us like, we need to separate fucking like actual rooms because we get really, most really, I fight with my fucking brother, I hate my brother, this and that. Like, we really don't, we get along for the most part, but
Dad
this
wants
thing,
us to write a will real quick.
oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
It's cool. We'll get past it.
All right, so where I stand, kind of to what he was saying earlier. Oh, Jesus. All right, well.
Just continue.
I'm going to try to. Just so I can just piss her off. Women suck. All right, so. Anyways, so where I stand with LeBron is, look, if you are, look, it's different with everybody else. I understand that I'm in this like weird little area of this, but I'm going to skip a lot of the bullshit. I'm going to cut right to the semi-meat of it here. So when he left, there's a lot bullshit before this, but when he left, obviously everybody, hated it, or every Cleveland fan hated him, and they burned his jerseys, and they did all this shit.
The first time.
Exactly. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. They did all this fucking nonsense. Thank you the first time. Thank you.
He left twice.
Thank you. And so then when he came back, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. He's the best player in the league. Why not? I mean, he said fuck you before, so as long as he gives us what we want, it's okay. And then he can leave again. Again, is that not the most fucking, like, insane fucking, whatever. That's the biggest nutshell I can possibly put this in, and you're lucky, because I can talk about this for 2 hours straight. That's the biggest nutshell I can say, other than it's like being proposed to after being left at the altar. Go.
Do you want to propose it in questions towards me, or is it just like, here's my point of view, then I give my point of view, or do you have a question? Would you rather do it that way?
No, that's where I stand on it. That's what he asked. Okay. We'll see where you stand on it, and then I'll probably interrupt you a lot, and then you'll probably walk home or something. So, we'll fucking figure it out.
My stance on LeBron
He's not from
is I'll try to keep this short because I know we don't have a lot of time, but
Christ almighty, fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah,
so you got snacks. You get your popcorn ready.
So obviously the child born into this family that was born in Akron, I immediately had a connection with Bron.
Much like Voldemort and Harry Potter? Or?
Which is
I cut off all
I didn't have the same connection.
He started a whole preamble.
I know, I had a whole hours of thing, and it's fine. Just go.
Which is weird that I didn't have the same connection with Steph, because him and LeBron were born in the same hospital.
Switched up birth.
Which is true. Because So when LeBron came, I mean, I grew up, watching the Cavs. I remember how bad they were. I mean, all Cleveland teams, honestly, except for the Indians through the mid-'90s were really bad. Obviously, the Browns were terrible. So when LeBron came and he made the team good again, and I remember watching those finals teams and almost kind of knowing that it wasn't going to happen, wanting it to happen, but just looking at this guy just carrying these teams on his back, and looking at these Spurs teams, and just being like, or Detroit, and it's like, dude, it's just not going to happen. I mean, these guys, this is a team, a well-rounded team. We literally just have a dude, and then we've got these other weird puzzle pieces that we've made work together. And we had Mike Brown, and then when he left, it killed me. I was so
LeBron, not Mike Brown.
Yeah, definitely not Mike.
Did you hate him?
When LeBron left,
did you burn your jersey?
No, hell no. I fell victim to what the media wanted me to feel. Was he left you, he doesn't care, he wants to go chase rings, he wants to do this and that, where in reality, I should have been focused on what's most important, is my fandom, my team. Why should I be so infatuated with this player. Now, I do love the guy. I did, and it sucked that he left. But I was too immature to understand the ins and outs of Dan Gilbert and our ownership and what the rest of the league was doing and how it was shaping and how we gave him Shaq and we gave him these weird guys to be like,
okay, I thought you were saying that as a good thing for a
right,
second.
no, it was like, we'll help build you a team, and we wouldn't spend the money.
Is it?
And then LeBron was like, okay, I'm gonna go down here, have my college years with his team, and that's fine. And he did his thing, and that's great. I'm going to skip ahead to say what Brett wants to hear. My only gripe, honestly, right now to this day with LeBron is that when he left the second time, the hole he put us in was not cool.
The Tristan Thompson contract.
My boy Tristan, he's on my agency. I'm going to dangle these picks in front of you. You got to bring me Isaiah Thomas, you got to bring me all these dudes. You got to bring me everybody on the fucking planet.
Thank God for them. They didn't trade the picks.
I'm going to do these 1 years. But and then it's like, well, I'm going to go build my brand and whatever, and it's like, bye. And it's like, okay, well, fuck, man.
If you think about it, it's similar to the Anthony Davis thing, except LeBron gave it like 4 or 5 more years.
I mean,
well, like you said, you're giving me all these.
That's a drop in the cup of an ocean that Cleveland fans feel.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying you're giving me all this shit.
Yeah, it's not even close.
You're giving me all this.
Yeah.
But
not close.
The situation.
He's not even from New Orleans.
No, I'm saying the situation where the management.
With LeBron's letter, I'm coming home and this is
but
this
listen,
is my deal.
So
and
he gave them all this time, much more. If Anthony Davis was from New Orleans, he might give them more time. LeBron gave them so much time, and they put bullshit team after bullshit team around him. So when he leaves, sure, you could be sad about it or you could be mad about it. Did Cleveland? What does Cleveland deserve to have LeBron other than he was born there? What does he owe Cleveland to stay with them other than he was born there?
He doesn't owe them that he was born there anyways.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
So I don't get mad at Steph because Steph doesn't play because he was born.
But what did Dan Gilbert ever do to deserve LeBron James besides LeBron being born in that state?
Dan Gilbert has never done anything except be born with a bunch of money.
It's the whole born on third base and you thought you hit a triple.
I'm with you.
It's not hot enough.
Skip ahead, Stu. I'm saying. I get more mad about the Dolans with the Indians and the Gilberts with the Cavs than I do about individual players. Now the whole player entitlement thing and let's the players dictate their own thing, that is positive and detrimental, I think, to the game on both sides. That 2016 championship, it's kind of like me being a Bama fan after I adopted them in 2008, 2009. I know that people that were Bama fans from 92 beyond or whatever, those championships mean more to them than it does to me. That 2016 Cavs championship means more to me than somebody that was just a LeBron fan. That Cubs championship in the World Series in 2016 means more to him than some Joe that started rooting for That's what should matter. I don't care about because if the Browns win the Super Bowl next year and all these Browns fans get upset about the bandwagon fans, we shouldn't. Because you know why? It means more than they can understand.
When you saw
that's what matters.
When you saw
that's
LeBron,
what sports is about.
When you saw LeBron, you saw his emotion after he won for Cleveland.
Oh, he was a baby.
That was different than anything that he showed in Miami.
Yeah,
it meant, and he would tell you that himself. It meant more. The one that he won with Cleveland meant more than anything that he, and that was a similar outcry to anything is possible. He's like,
our relationship with players on teams is not a marriage. It is not. My marriage is to that team or to that league or whatever it is, if you're a soccer fan or whatever. That's my marriage. Okay, it's not to a person. So if they leave, that sucks. But my allegiance, my marriage is to that team. So I can't, people that get upset about that you should be upset about everything else that goes around it and not that person.
But you don't agree?
No.
You're mad that he left or what?
It's just weird. Why would you not be happy for a team just because of one person?
I never. I bet his Britt wants to move on to opening day. Look, we've been over this a lot. And I've always said when all that bullshit happened, I said, look, I'm happy for the city of Cleveland. I'm very happy for the fans that, for lack of a better term, are happy for the Cavs. That's awesome. No team deserves a championship more than the city of Cleveland.
That
when
parade
when Jamie berated himself in here and talking about like, oh, why does that make sense? I think you actually took it the wrong way, and I would have been like, well, fuck you. Like, Cleveland deserves a championship more than anybody else. Like, you can have shitty teams that are still winning. Oakland has a lot of shitty fucking teams, but guess what? Most Warriors fans don't know you play in fucking Oakland. They're winning championships. Detroit, dude, the Lions fucking suck.
I was gonna say,
but the Tigers have won, and the Red Wings have been good for fucking forever. Name me the last time that, before the Cavs, that Cleveland team won a championship. And we can cue the crickets right fucking now, because that city deserves a championship more than anybody else. That's what drove me so nuts. Well, one of many things, but many things drove me so nuts about that whole fucking LeBron thing. Was like,
because you thought it was about LeBron and not Cleveland.
It just pisses me off when it's different from Dwight. Like, Ryan P. always likes to bring up, like, well, Dwight was your #1 pick overall, and he said he wasn't going to range it. No one ever says they're going to range it. No one ever gets drafted and says, well, I'm not going to leave. Like, no one ever says, well, I'm going to leave. Like, no one ever says that. But when you're the homeborn son, you're drafted by that team. You say you're never going to chase rings, and it's not like you couldn't win.
You're a child.
It's not like Chris Broussard said. If he had stayed in Cleveland, he definitely would have won.
What
definitely.
the fuck does Chris Broussard know?
Yeah, like that.
The #1 fucking NBA. Anyways.
How long was he there? He gave them so many years.
You know more than Chris Broussard. I forgot. I totally forgot.
If Manny Ramirez had stayed in Cleveland, he would have shat leprechauns
what does
for 5
Chris
years.
Broussard know?
I mean, we can say
you're right. Chris Broussard doesn't know a lot. I'm so sorry about that.
I mean,
like the #1 NBA fucking.
He's
anyways,
not the #1 NBA whatever. Chris Broussard. I mean, if you would have said like Bill Simmons,
he knows
or
more
like
than anybody on your stupid podcast. Stephen Smith doesn't know shit.
But
Stephen A. Smith does know shit.
No.
What a weird thing to say. Like, if
anyways, I'm just saying. Okay. Fuck the Chris Broussard thing.
Based on what? The garbage team.
How long?
The fact that he kept he got to the finals with said awful team
because of him only.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
And the league was changing, and the contracts were changing. It was not gonna work.
Guess who didn't make it to the finals without LeBron? Every other team who he was on. He didn't. Okay, look, 2006 with a very good Shaq, But I'm just saying, like, okay, if you put
Shaq in his prime.
Exactly. If you put Bosh and Wade on a team, they're not going to go there. If you put LeBron on a team, they're going to win. I think LeBron is the best player on the fucking planet, and there's no way to argue against that in my mind. You're not going to convince me otherwise.
How many years would he have had to stay? Okay, so this is my whole argument.
Best player, man.
This is my whole argument. You want him to stay with Cleveland and continue to lose and lose and lose and lose. What do you think?
He did a lot of winning.
What do you think Charles Barkley hears every time you never won a ring? You want the best player on the planet to continually.
Charles Barkley wasn't the best player in the NBA.
I'm saying all these guys here, if they don't win a ring, is you never won a ring. You want LeBron to go his career being compared to Michael Jordan out of high school, and then as soon as
they aren't superstars.
But he's spending his whole prime in. If he would have went to Miami sooner, if he would have left sooner, he could have won more championships.
I can say as a Cleveland fan,
why do they deserve to keep him?
Me. I got that ring.
No.
That 2016 will
charity.
It means the world to me.
Why do they deserve for him to stay there?
My sweet sister bought me a piece of that court that I have in a little glass container from that championship year that I keep, and I will cherish that forever.
Was it the part that Kyrie hit that shot off of?
Right, yeah. Man, we could talk about Kyrie too, but...
Why does Cleveland deserve to keep the best player of all time?
Because they're the best fucking sports town on the planet.
Dan Gilbert is one bad comment away from Sterling, and everybody knows it.
LeBron went back to Cleveland in spite of Dan Gilbert. There's stories of him walking past Dan Gilbert in the hall and not talking to him at all.
No one's denying that.
So why do they deserve to have, just because he was born there?
SS.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Don't bring up Leanna. I'm making a nice point about Leanna. She's here. I'm saying she gave me a piece for a sibling present, which she actually sent out on time, unlike myself, which I am incapable of
Then
doing.
if LeBron spends his whole career in Cleveland and wins that one championship in 2016 because they finally got Kyrie and they finally get the fucking
I don't
picks
care
right.
who it is.
Yeah, so he does that whole thing, and then they say he's not as good as Jordan because he didn't win as many championships. So he's either supposed to be loyal to the city he's from, or he's supposed to not be in the same.
How many Cubs players are still on that team from 2016?
Wait, is this like a knock or something? Sorry, I was not paying attention.
No, I'm serious. How many Cubs players are still on that team?
I feel like
how many Cubs players did
Almost all
they?
of them.
I was gonna say
How
a
many
good
players?
amount.
It's a totally different sport, though. If that's where we're going.
Yeah.
But almost all.
But
of them
how
are.
many pickups were there?
Baseball's
Think about the
totally
Chapman.
different.
Chapman was just plucked. Think
It's
about how the
not-
Royals
it's
did that.
one-
That's what's weird about baseball too. Baseball teams
Five
can do that.
players who start for an NBA team.
Yeah, it
There's
is-
five.
it is different.
There's double that. That's well, almost double. Sorry, I'm from Alabama. I can't really add very well, but
I'm just
9
saying,
players start.
it's not a big deal when teams add on a bunch of dudes at the last end of the season, like the Royals did when the Royals won, and then they were garbage after that because they couldn't afford it.
It's different sports. Different sports.
Well.
Well, for one has a salary cap and one doesn't.
Yeah, my whole point was, what does Cleveland deserve? Like, Brett, I think your whole point is like that he should have stayed there longer and like given them more of a. How long does he have to stay there for? His whole career?
What was
So you didn't think he was going to win
never
ever
wins?
because he got to the finals, right? So he couldn't win.
I'm not saying
Couldn't
he
win,
couldn't-
right?
I'm not. You can't just continually put nothing around him.
Okay, so then it goes to the whole fucking
Okay.
contract thing. Like, okay, if he's earning $400 fucking million, tell him to take a goddamn pay cut and then pay other people. Or if he's not paying enough, then it's on the fucking GM to not sign the right players.
It's a
This goes in
salary
the whole
cap sport, like you said.
Okay.
Okay, so if sorry, one more thing. If the GM if the GM and the owner are not doing their jobs and they're not putting the players around you,
Then fucking fire them. Sorry, I'm sorry.
He
Go ahead,
can't.
sorry.
And I'm LeBron. I'm gonna be my own GM. I'm gonna leave and I'll make my own fucking team. Sorry if it's not in Cleveland, but I'll be the GM and I'll make these guys my own team, and then I'll win a championship 2 in 4 years.
I do see what you're saying. I personally disagree because I don't think that he could not have won in Cleveland. I think that he could have won.
It's not even like he's doing the Anthony Davis thing where he's leaving in the middle of his contract.
Anthony Davis never made it to the fucking finals. The Cavs made it to the finals.
He was a free agent. He's allowed to
They
leave.
made it. They could have won. They could have won.
He's a free agent. He's allowed to leave.
No one's saying he couldn't leave. I'm just saying he could have won.
Sounds like
He made it to the finals.
Sounds
It's not like he got swept. It's not like he's Tracy McGrady. He got swept every fucking time in the whole first round. No one's saying that. He made the finals.
He makes the finals every year. It's because of him.
No one's arguing that. No one's arguing that. It's against him. He could make the finals. No one's saying that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
He was 8 or 9 years in Cleveland, won nothing. He went to Miami and won 2 in 4 years. I'm saying he's a better
A
GM.
whole bunch of fucking. Oh, Jesus Christ.
All I'm gonna say is
With
that,
Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
look, if you hit that 8th world against Bowser like 6 times in a row and you can't do it, sometimes you flip to that little scroll bar and you're like, I need to change some shit up. Give me a mushroom or a little flower. I need some power-ups here
talking about?
to win. I can't do this by myself. I need some power-ups.
So who's more at fault? Okay, so is LeBron more at fault than Chris Bosh, or everybody's like, okay, well, you can't say shit about Dwayne Wade. He brought everybody to him. Sorry for not listening to me. We're looking at a fucking goddamn computer screen.
Hey, is Chris
But I'm
Bosh
saying-
the worst too?
I actually like Chris Bosh.
I love Chris Bosh. What do you mean?
Not with the Heat. I love Chris Bosh.
Why not with the Heat?
His number should have never been retired last night. It's so fucking
What are you
stupid.
talking about? It's
the worst thing you've
Are you fucking
serious? He is.
That's the worst.
Dan Marino's number is retired with the Heat. Everyone's number is retired with the Heat.
He might be a Hall of Famer. I'm just
serious?
saying. With the Raptors, he should be retired with the Raptors.
Oh my gosh.
Who is? Or should he not be retired with the Raptors? Not the Heat. Thank you.
Both. He won 2 championships.
I want to throw this so much, but it's my new hat.
He won 2 championships.
You gotta
Is it 4 years? Okay, so is Robert Ory's number?
Is Clay's number going to be retired with the Warriors?
Absolutely not.
What do you mean?
He's awful.
Klay Thompson is awful. Klay Thompson is awful? Now you're off your meds.
He's a very situational player. I will say
If
that.
he was
That
on
was
any
the
other
closest.
team, he'd be the number one.
If Klay Thompson was on the Magic, we would win the same amount of games.
That was the closest
that's
Larry
not-
David we've had tonight. Like, what do you mean? That was the closest Jerry Seinfeld. What do you mean? He won 2 championships.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah,
If Klay Thompson was a replacement for who's the shooting guard right now for the Magic, they'd win.
Evan Fournier.
They'd win the same amount of games.
Yeah.
What time
Evan
is it?
Fournier plays better defense than Klay Thompson. Evan Fournier is not a good player.
I don't even think
but
that.
he's a better defensive player than bitch-ass Klay Thompson.
Klay is a good.
Have you
defender.
gone to a lot of his YMCA practices?
I'm his #1 star. I got all the gold stars on my jersey the whole way down. You only allowed to get
He's
6.
all,
He
he's,
gave
all
me
about,
7.
he's all about charity.
Yeah.
He's like Baker's charity, Clay's charity.
Yeah.
I just
stuff.
don't. You're saying that Bosch number shouldn't be retired. They want.
Thank you, Chris Bosh is right. I'm going back it up. Yelling about it again. Thank you, Danny. Thank you.
that.
Thank you. He's a rap.
It's not like he was out of his prime when he went to the Heat. He was still in his prime.
So did
That's
Chris
weird.
Bosh ever make the finals with the Raptors? No. Okay, so it's maybe okay for him to leave. Guess who made the finals with his team? It's LeBron. That is a great point right there.
Sorry if you couldn't win a championship with the best player in the
He
world.
would have
8 years.
He would have won a championship.
If anyone stays with any team for eternity, they'll win a championship. Someone's got to win eventually. I mean,
Does not play defense like. All right. Okay.
Dirk
Great.
stayed 20 years with the Mavericks. He won one. Everyone's going to win one eventually.
Yeah, remember in 2008 when everybody was like, "Oh, I'm
Well,
tired of
Dustin
the
and I
Mavericks."
disagree here because
Yeah, what a
Bosh was
righteous
actually very good
act
for the
to-
Heat,
to
but it was
just
only in a
stay
very
with one
small
team and win
frame.
one championship.
it was awesome.
Over
You and I went to
Yeah.
fucking playoff games.
That would have been
against the
LeBron.
Mavericks.
So LeBron stays with
That's why
Cleveland
you
for
hate
20
fucking
years and
Keon
winds up
Dolan,
as
'cause he threw
Dirk.
the ball right to Bosh for that
would've
inbound
stayed-
pass.
if LeBron would have stayed like Dirk, he would have gotten the same thing. Everyone
Yeah,
like
20
oh,
like
amazing. And he would
your
have got the
input.
weird,
Please
awkward
comment more
standing
about that.
ovation and weird
20 years with one team and you win one championship.
Jazz fans be
eventually.
yelling like weird racial epithets and like clapping. It's like, oh, good for you, LeBron.
Are we supposed to cheer or not? I'm confused
yeah.
right now.
Jesus. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's the same thing if Westbrook leaves OKC and wins a championship somewhere else. Are we supposed to just like?
No.
Are we supposed to just kill him?
So a comparison.
No, it's not. He's the only one that stayed.
Brett, so you're
But is Harden not? Is
Brett,
Harden?
He's not
a,
from
a,
there.
A warrior?
He's never gonna win one.
Is Harden a
So
Thunder?
your comparison would be if KD's jersey gets retired with the Warriors. That would be similar to Bosh.
I'm already pissed off that KD's jersey got retired by Texas, who he went to for 1 year and
That's
made
weird,
the Sweet
yeah.
16.
That's weird. I mean,
He was the only player that's put them on the map for the last.
yeah, what are they going to retire?
20
DJ
Texas.
Augustine's jersey?
They went to the Sweet 16, they went to the
Name
Elite
me
Eight.
one
Sweet
other
16.
player.
DJ Augustine, the starting point guard for Texas, made those ACC as well.
Yeah, but he's not Kevin Durant.
What? Are you saying that a guy that's about to get drafted is relevant
so because he's not good in the NBA, he doesn't deserve to get his jersey retired, even though he went the exact same amount?
It's different with different schools. Zion's jersey will not get retired with Duke because that's not
They're way
I hate
over.
to tell you
No, I'm
this,
saying-
but Gerald Wallace's jersey will not be retired at the University of Alabama
No
because
shit.
he played for the fucking
No
Brooklyn
shit.
Nets.
No shit. Nobody gives a shit about that.
He
But
was
you're
a better
good for
dunker.
Who did you? Oh, you beat Rogers hard in the game.
I did beat Rogers Hard in knockout.
knockout. That's what it was. Yeah,
When
knockout,
I was
yeah.
like 12. So, Rod, if you're watching from the EuroLeague live stream, in your fucking face.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah.
LaMarcus Aldridge, very good fucking Texas player. Who might be in the Hall of Fame. It's close.
For me, it would be more about what you did at the college. Like you said, Durant was there 1 year. They didn't really do anything. I mean,
Drives me nuts. You retired his jersey, and you were 1 year.
I'm not
It's
disagreeing.
fucking stupid.
Bosh should absolutely be retired by the Heat. You win 2 championships. It doesn't matter if you're there 10 years or 2 years.
How come the fucking Lakers haven't retired Robert Ory's?
That's the
Or the
Lakers.
Rockets haven't retired Robert Ory's number?
It's the state government or the federal government. Every team can do their own thing.
Yeah, like Lakers are just
The Heat have Dan Marino's
What's the
jersey
Lakers because
retired.
of that? Unreal. All right, closing arguments here.
Oh.
Fucking Christ Almighty.
LeBron was never married to Brett, although he feels that way, is what we got to.
Cleveland fans have to feel good about what's going on in LA because even when he was in Cleveland with those shitty teams, he still took him to the playoffs.
It's hilarious.
So, like, when he was in Miami and then he lost. Go ahead. Just fucking go ahead.
Sorry. One thing from last night. Lance Stevenson stepped on A.J. Green's
No.
foot.
That was nasty.
not a cross.
No, that was nasty. He did not step on it.
He stepped on Jeff Green, not A.J. Green.
We were watching it. That was
Completely
nasty.
different guy. Jeff Green, my boy didn't
Was it
deserve
Jeff
that.
Green on him?
Yeah. Jeff was guarding
6'10"
Lance.
Jeff Green?
Yeah, Lance was doing his
That was
dumb
not Jeff
shit,
Green,
and then
no.
he stepped on Jeff's foot, and then so Jeff was pulling away, and then he stumbled. And
Look, I'm with you on a lot of that shit. Everybody
Anyway,
loses
sorry,
their
that's all I
mind
wanted to say.
because
Lance, that was bullshit. You don't deserve the cross credit. Just play your air guitar and enjoy watching the playoffs from home.
How
Continue.
is Lance Stevenson on a team with LeBron? How is that even allowed to happen?
Ask Magic Johnson.
Well, I hope you guys
He said watching Contavious Caldwell's quote was like bread from heaven. Manna from heaven.
As a
watching that
Pistons
guy.
fan, I can tell you that was definitely some moldy ass bread.
Lakers got a good thing going with Magic, without a doubt. That guy definitely knows how to pick them. The Portland guy they gave away, who just broke his leg in 15 places, but they gave him away for basically nothing.
They never had Nurkic. The Lakers?
Yes.
The Lakers didn't have Nurkic.
Yes.
You're thinking of the Zubats.
Oh, is that who I'm thinking
Yeah,
of?
yeah,
Am I right? Okay. Well, either way, that guy's great too.
Zubats is good, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, that's all right. Sorry.
But yeah,
You're right.
Nurkic.
They said bro will need to hydrate for a day after this. Danny said he better drop some ice to Jameson tomorrow because I know I could drink water. That's what Dan's my boy.
There you go.
He can say whatever he wants, which is normally, well, it's normally statistically correct, but opinionally not very good.
I'm really not excited about watching the depleted Indians infield for the next month. Really excited to watch our pitching.
Who's your World Series picks there?
Ooh, that's a good question. Man, I really hate to say it. If I'm a betting man,
Sox?
yeah, it's kind of hard to go against the Sox.
Yeah.
If everybody's healthy, I think that it would be. But that's a weird thing about. I think that seeding should just go out of the way. It's just so dumb. It's not. That's a whole different podcast. But I think seeding should
I
go
know,
out.
that's why I tried
I really think that the
ended
Indians,
before that, but we'll figure it
the
out.
Indians and the Sox. Sorry if that was where you were trying to go.
No,
to.
no, you're fine.
The Indians and Sox, I feel like, would be a really good. If everybody stays healthy, and the Indians have not been able to do that for years, but if they could do it, yes. National League, I really don't. I honestly don't know. What do you guys think nationally? Because that's out of my ballpark. I mean, I do watch both leagues, but I'm not as invested as a Cubs fan that you are.
Man.
Phillies?
I'm fucking trying. This guy fucking got back into it.
Phillies?
No, fuck them. No, it's gonna be Cardinals.
Really?
No, Cardinals or Cubs.
I shouldn't say really.
Cardinals, you
Just
think so?
because of the Phillies rotation, right? Bats can't. If there's anything we've seen, correct me if I'm wrong, boys. If there's anything we've seen over the last, at least just the 2 years of baseball playoffs, your rotation has to be the most important, right?
Cubs.
Your bullpen even.
I'm a Tigers fan, so we lost with that career rotation.
Sorry.
All right, Brett.
Hey, at least you got a ring, bro.
Brett's trying to end it.
I don't know what it's like.
We didn't get a ring. Sorry.
Anyways, all right. Well, all right.
Brett's
so,
trying to end it. We can go for another hour, but we probably have to end it.
Well, I got fucking angry bitches fucking screaming at me over here. But hey, guys. Well, hopefully that lived up to somewhat of expectation. Thank you very much for tuning in to Analytically Correct, if I fucking said it right. Thank you very much for my boy over here, Stuart Agains, hanging out with us, which is always
It's my
really
Christian name.
right.
Stuart again.
But seriously, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. It's awesome. You guys really make the show. We like to call this the People's Podcast, as always.
My alias, Marty.
We really do appreciate all that you guys do, the comments, the likes, the views, all that stuff. We really, really, really appreciate it. So on behalf of myself, the Traveling Drunks, Marty, fucking Stretch, all these people that make it possible, thank you guys so much. And we hope to see you next week. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Go Michigan.
Thanks.